Hello everyone and welcome to this week's video tutorial. This will be a continuation of the left riverbank horse variation. This will be the fourth video and the work is based on Grandmaster Zhang and Master Wenqing's book. They are one of the book on opening Tabia, opening Tabia in their trilogy of books on opening theory. Again, I am very honored to have obtained the permission to make these videos. So without further ado, let us begin this week's board. A central cannon, a 7th pawn advancement for both colors, and the pawn rank chariot. And this will be the topic of discussion for the past few weeks, the left riverbank horse variation. Now, to prevent the black horse from charging forward, red will usually play h8 plus 7, and black will fortify with e3 plus 5. This is considered to be the tabia. Now in today's board, we will be discussing red playing r9 plus 1 to develop his left chariot as a ranked chariot. Now this is a very one of the relatively new ways of playing this variation. As mentioned earlier, c8 plus 1 etc. was usually seen. Now when red develops the left chariot as a ranked chariot, he would be targeting the horse very early on in game and hoping to apply much pressure to black's left flank. Now this is quite a vicious counter. Now this method of play, or this variation, became very popular in the 1980s to 1990s. Now faced with this position, black would usually attack in two different manners. The first would be p7 plus 1 to attack the ranked chariot as mentioned earlier in the earlier variations, and the other would be to consolidate his defense and play a4 plus 5, allowing for development of the right chariot as a kingside chariot. So let us begin with variation A, whereby p7 plus 1 is played. Now obviously, after playing p7 plus 1, the horse would now be attacking the chariot. Now r2 equals to 4 was advised, and at this point in time, black would play r2 equals to 4 to try to dislodge the horse. Now where would this horse go, or should black sacrifice the horse and go for a trade of horses over here? In the book, h6 plus 7 was advised. Now, would p7 plus 1 be a viable option? Now let us see. After p7 plus 1, because red had developed his chariot as a ranked chariot, basically he would have secured or defended the throat rank in this manner. So that is why h3 minus 1 would be a good option in this situation. The black horse, because it has been blocked by the red chariot, it cannot retreat. So now the issue is where would he move? Now it is also not advisable to move the horse to this flank, because now there are two pieces guarding this flank and the horse will be alone and unprotected. So usually black would simply retreat his horse over here and try to attack this pawn. Now, again, as mentioned earlier, one of the main issues for this opening system is this file. If black were able to develop these two pieces, he would usually be able to turn the tables. So red will usually play r4 equals to 2 in this situation. Red captures the pawn, and since the cannon was in danger, red will simply play c8 plus 1 to attack the pawn that had crossed the river. Now this pawn would have played 3 moves, 1, 2, 3 to get black would have used up 3 moves to get the pawn to this position. Now with c8 plus 1, black would capture the pawn, and if the pawn were captured, it would mean that black would have wasted 3 moves. So usually black would counter with a ranked chariot of his own, and red will be very patient. Instead of capturing the pawn, he will now prepare to gain material. So at this point in time, after playing p7 plus 1, red would have the initiative. So that is why simply capturing the pawn at this point in time would prevent black from facing on the issues mentioned earlier. Now, c5 equals to 4 is a versatile move, although black had had used up 2 moves to move the cannon. c2 equals to 5 and now c5 equals to 4. This formation would allow red to have a very flexible formation, and he would be prepared to target the advisor to capture the chariot. So that is why black would usually play a4 plus 5 to prevent this from happening, and also to allow for development of his red chariot. Now, at this point in time, red would now take the opportunity to deal with the issue of this of the pawn and horse over here. Now, there was some discussion for this move. Now, would c8 plus 2 have been viable? If he did, black would counter with c2 plus 1. Now, although red would capture the pawn, but now because black had already raised the advisors, there would not be any good intersections for the red chariot to be maneuvered to. So it would be left hanging in a precarious position. Now, black would be prepared to play p3 plus 1, and there will be many possible tactical combinations for black to continue his game. So that is why capturing the c8 plus 2 is not a good idea. And neither would r9 equals to 4, r9 equals to 4 be a good, r9 equals to 4 be a good idea. Because even though black wanted to capture the advisor by force, black could simply defend in this manner very simply. And now the red cannon and chariots will be placed in a rather awkward and congested position. Red would not have many more options to continue, and black has slowly seized the initiative and gain more momentum with his counter attack. So that is why c8 plus 2 or r9 equals to 4 are not good ideas. And r4 equals to 3 was suggested or recommended in the book. C2 plus 2, black will counter in this manner. So if red captured the pawn, black will immediately play c8 equals to c2 equals to 7, and possibly attack with c8 equals to 7, adding a lot of pressure to this file. Now, this is what I meant. c8, if the red chariot captured the pawn, black will immediately play c2 equals 7. He will be prepared to play c8 equals to 7 also. So at this point in time, both the cannons, this would be a move to try to block the cannons from attacking, but now black would have 2 elephants still protecting this cannon, and the pressure on this side of the board would be very intense. So r9 equals to 2 is advocated because it is imperative for red to keep the pressure on these 2 pieces. Black would protect his pawn in this manner. Red will try to capture the cannon by blocking the elephant's eye, and black would play c7 plus 8, threatening to capture the chariot with this move and also to trade material. So red will capture the pawn, and again this is a very nice move because by retreating the horse, the black cannon will keep attacking the chariot, and there's also another indirect capture of this chariot because now black was prepared to play c7 plus 5 for the check and then capture the red chariot. So red will usually defend in this manner, capturing the elephant, and black is prepared to trade material and would have gained an elephant in the process. Now both colors will be pestering each other. This would be a very sticky situation, but red would have the slight advantage. So this would be variation A. In variation B, black would adopt a more conservative approach and play a4 plus 5 instead of pushing the pawn forward. Now, red would counter with r9 equals to 6 to prevent the development of the black chariot. Now this is a very important and correct move to make. Now at this point in time, r9 equals to 4 would be a mistake because, okay, let's say r9 equals to 4, r9 equals to 4, because black would now gladly trade chariots. So once after trading chariots, black would have, let's say, black traded chariots. Black would have a possible counter with c6 minus 1 for the cannon pin, again material, and the red chariot would have to make at least one or two more moves to get itself to a desirable position, whereas black's chariot would be out in a jiffy, and black would have a nice position at hand. So that is why r9 equals to 6 is correct. It would not be a mistake to play r9 equals to 4. Now at this point in time, in the book, c2 plus 2 was played. Now this is a very implicit but powerful counter. It would not be a good idea to play p7 plus 1 now, although attacking the chariot would be one of the main objectives of this horse. Because red will counter in this manner, and after trading material, again red will keep applying pressure on this file, and red would have the initiative. So p7 plus 1 is not advocated. Instead, black would play c2 plus 2 for a very implicit and powerful counter. And since black had played c2 plus 2, it was advised that red would play p5 plus 1. Okay, would h3 minus 1 be a good idea in preparation, or is a prophylactic move? Because once the pawn was pushed, okay, let me see. Let's say, for example, black, okay, after pushing the pawn, black, the red chariot cannot move here because the cannon will now command this file. The horse will not attack its position. The red chariot cannot attack a move over here. And if it moved here, the pawn, okay, for example, if it moved here, the pawn will simply capture the pawn and still threaten the chariot. And another even more devious move would be to play h6 plus 8, and black would lose, red would lose the chariot. So that is why, red would have to retreat his chariot all the way back to the, let's say, the cannon rank or the throat rank, so that you have space for it to move when black attacks with h6 plus 8. So that is why h3 minus 1, this is the, sorry, after c2 minus 2, this will be the thought idea behind this move. And usually in this situation, black would be advised to play p5 plus 1. Another variation that was given in the book, sorry. Okay, p7 plus 1 after trading material. This was mentioned, sorry. Okay, at this point in time, red will usually attack with p5 plus 1. Again, it would not be a good idea to retreat the horse h3 minus 1 at this point in time, because black would trade pawns, and after trading pawns, you can see that the cannon will now still be protecting the horse, and black threatens to ambush the red chariot with p7 plus 1. Now black would have fortified its defenses, and this would be a whole new different situation. Black's position was not weak, and there will be many possible tactical combinations for black to continue. So p5 plus 1 is usually played. Now black will attack, and black will push his horse across the river. Now red will now link his horses at the central file with h3 plus 5. Now the line of thinking would be that red would want to continue his attack slowly but surely, and even though he would give up this flank for the moment. Now p5 plus 1 would be too hasty, because you'll notice the difference in the order of the moves. Because now black would have the option of playing p7 equals to 6, opting to sacrifice the pawn, and now attacking the elephant. And as can be seen, black can continue with ra plus 4 etc. to defend, and black is more than able to contend. The black pawn will also be threatening to capture the red horse, and this would be a very complicated position. h3 plus 5, and black could counter in this manner. Now if say okay, so let's say would c2 equals to 7 be a viable option? Let's say c2 equals to 4. Would this be a viable option? The answer would be no, because red will counter with r6 plus 4. This chariot had blocked the elephant from protecting the cannon, and r6 plus 4 will now threaten to capture the cannon directly. So the issue of this cannon will now be probably problematic, because it will not have many good places to go. So p5 plus 1 to continue the attack, trading material, and black will advance the cannon or his chariot across the river and prepare to attack. Now both colors would have their scruples in this very complicated position, but red would have a slight advantage. Now in this board, red's left flank chariot would allow red to both attack and defend. Now a short recap. In after r9 plus 1, there were two variations that were discussed: p7 plus 1 and a4 plus 5. p7 plus 1 is more aggressive and violent, and if both colors played correctly, red will have a slight advantage, but black will have an attack going on. The issue of this file will now become the focus of the match. In the second variation, a4 plus 5, red will counter in this manner, and if both colors played correctly, this would be another complicated situation. So I hope you like this video. Sometimes when I play the central cannon and the enemy plays the left riverbank horse, I've experimented with this variation before. It's quite fun, but not for the faint of heart. And for a person of my age, getting on in my years, sometimes it's just too exciting for a person like me. Okay, so if you like the work that I've been doing, please subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up for this video. I'll be doing a few more videos on the left riverbank horse variation. Thank you.